You and I wrap up this talk about vocal chameleons among male SEIYUU with an in-depth talk about one of the most underrated singers among SEIYUU, that is, surprise, surprise, a chameleon. In a way, you can say that Tomoaki Maeno has achieved the true chameleon identity. Few even notice just how impressive he is as a singer due to how low-key he is about his skills. So let's kick off this episode of SEIYUU Lounge. Welcome to SEIYUU Lounge. I am your host Vanessa, and today's topic is vocal chameleons among male SEIYUU. Tomoaki Maeno. Before you and I talk a bit about Tomoaki Maeno and how awesome he is as a singer, it's time to make an impromptu celebration as the hand that feeds HQ, the website from which this podcast stems from, is now 12 years old. It all started in August 1st, 2010. This is a massive milestone for this project. In a way, I didn't even notice time passing by. This is crazy. 12 years. Thank you so much for your support in this journey, sharing love for male SEIYUU artists and 2D music projects. Thank you, and here's to many more years to come. Now it's time to cover today's topic. When you think about Tomoaki Maeno's voice, what comes to your mind? To many people, his deep voice comes across as sexy, for others imposing, and for some even soft and sweet. But there is much more to this outstanding voice than what meets the eye or ear. Let's dive in. Path in the music industry. Despite no longer being active as a solo artist, Tomoaki Maeno ended up making a solo debut back in 2009 with the single For You. Believe it or not, that was the last time fans listened to Maeno as a solo artist, as his career as one quickly crashed down with the lack of support from the music label following poor sales numbers. The single itself didn't highlight Maeno's singing skills and ended up being quite generic, which also didn't help putting a spotlight into the insane vocal chameleon that he is. However, Maeno's path in the music industry with 2D music projects is all about stellar performances, impressive accolades, and a whole lot of reasons for people to actually stop to check the work he has been doing. Style and singing skills. Tomoaki Maeno is insanely professional in his performances, doing everything that was asked of him with a quality level that is impressive. He is not a flashy singer, but he sure as hell knows how to bring attention to his performances. I keep bringing up this performance every time I talk about Maeno, but as Camas, in the Utapri franchise, he delivered an otherworldly performance that only a vocal chameleon with a massive control over his vocals could pull off. I am of course talking about Double Face. I had never seen a SEIYUU performing two different personalities on stage and doing so in such an ingenious way. A shift in the body stance and the hand holding the mic support. Those were his triggers to shift between personalities, singing tones and styles. He was performing in both tenor and bass ranges on the fly with little to no time between both, which is unreal. And although that was but one very specific performance, it left a mark in both fans of Utapri, and more particularly Quartet Night, as well as those that love SEIYUU voices without a particular care for 2D music. Maeno was showing something he had never shown before, not even when he was active as a solo artist. He has vocal range, absolute control over his tone, and the clockwork breathing that enables him to shift between techniques, voice tones, and the sort without anyone noticing it. From that point on, I believe more people started to pay attention to his singing skills. And now, as the heart and soul of the a cappella group Lil Happy, he shows that people had been sleeping on him and his singing skills for years. Expect Maeno to be a powerful and impactful lead, as well as one of the most robust backing vocals as a bass for a big chunk of the 2D groups he's a part of. Reliability, control, and a wide vocal range make him a hidden weapon that will elevate the performances of whichever group he ends up being cast in. Tomoaki Maeno is a singer that can, within the same song, perform in a completely polarizing tone, a singer that has a technique that shines, a SEIYUU that is consistently singing in multiple positions, baritone, bass and tenor, and absolutely nails all of those. To this day, his performance of Double Face as Camas in the Utapri franchise still makes jaws drop. On stage he performed 2 personas within a character, and he had a viable look and a voice tone that were completely different, being triggered by the hand he was using to grab the mic stand. While it was a show that he's a good actor, it's also a show that he's a fantastic singer, as transitions between both personas were swift and smooth. He can sing higher pitched and bubbly as Young Man, like he does for Trickstar in the Ensemble Stars franchise, really low and regal-like he does as Camas in the Utapri franchise, and have a sweet, gentle tone, or even be a pure bass singer emulating a contrabass as part of Lil Happy in the Aopella franchise. While he may not be the flashiest vocal chameleon out there, he does have a range, technique, and quality that make him and his performances one of a kind. To the groups and how he adapted to those. Despite being underappreciated for his singing skills by SEIYUU fans, Tomoaki Maeno ends up being one of the first choices by 2D music projects to be cast in the bass or baritone role within 2D groups. Such trust is well deserved, as Maeno has shown more than once how impressive he can be as a singer. Quartet Night is easily the group that puts his name on the spotlight. This was the very first group to get a #1 on Oricon's singles chart. This is a group that still to this day continues to impress with their teamwork and the unique voices in the lineup. And it was thanks to this group that Maeno got to better showcase his singing skills, as well as improve by leaps and bounds, turning into the singer that we now know. Six Gravity is yet another group in which Maeno got to showcase his range and versatility, performing various music genres and in different styles. Joining Trickstar wasn't expected, as Maeno took over Yoshimasa Hosoya's duties when he lost the ability to sing. Taking over from the work of what was at that time one of the best and most complete singers among male SEIYUU wasn't an easy feat. But he more than rose to the task and showcased his softer voice and slightly higher range for all the songs by the group. With Lancelot in the SEIYUU franchise, he showed what he could do when it came to bringing a mature vibe to R&B pop. And now, with Lil Happy, Maeno is showing his range in an unreal way. He's the member in charge of performing bass parts, being in charge of the percussion, almost sounding like a contrabass. But when he takes the lead, he brings his natural baritone range, and if need be, he can even tap into tenor range. Versatility and reliability have been keywords frequently used to describe his performances with the group. All 2D projects that cast Tomoaki Maeno have in him a singer that can perform in multiple positions, as if he was a natural singer in all common vocal ranges for men: tenor, baritone, and bass. What makes him a vocal chameleon? Aside from the massive vocal range, being able to pull off various techniques and doing so at will, what makes all the vocal chameleons I've talked about in the past couple of episodes stand out is how effortlessly they pull off all of those things, and most of the time within the same performance. Tomoaki Maeno does this with the unique poise and style that is mesmerizing. You can see the focus in his eyes when he is performing. He has everything about the performance and character jolted down and within him so that when it is time to perform live, he can sweep you off your feet. The fact that you can find Maeno performing in any vocal range sounding natural at it is yet another reason why he is a vocal chameleon. And of course, he can sound unrecognizable from performance to performance, not within a project but among the various projects he is a part of. For these and all other reasons I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, Tomoaki Maeno is a vocal chameleon. Standout performances. While Tomoaki Maeno is not the most active seiyuu when it comes to 2D music projects, he's part of a couple of exciting, some even unique projects, and of course the 2D music project that ended up opening the doors for a boom of 2D music, Utapri. Let's check a couple of his performances. Camas with Double Face. This is the performance you will share with whomever is trying to get into Tomoaki Maeno's singing, or even to someone that loves performances with an extra touch on the vocal end. Double Face is a song performed by Quartet Knight's Camas, and it is well known for how complex it is for anyone to even bother trying to replicate it. That's 2 voice tones, 2 vocal ranges, a baritone versus a tenor, 1 singer, Tomoaki Maeno. What happens on record is mesmerizing as Maeno goes back and forth in his vocal range to smoothly perform as both sides of the same character. And he does so bringing a powerful vibrato into the mix for his baritone parts and a breathy style for his tenor ones. It's crazy what he pulls off. And while on record both parts were recorded in different takes, in a live setting he does perform both, one after the other, without a pause in what is a mesmerizing performance. Truly an iconic performance and the best example of why he is a vocal chameleon, making a duet with himself while sounding completely different in both parts. Lil Happy with Little Real Happy. Little Real Happy is a barbershop a cappella style of song which, right from the start, is already really difficult to pull off and sound really good doing it, as it requires perfect coordination within a group. For Lil Happy, Tomoaki Maeno is in charge of the bass vocals, being almost like a contrabass. He goes really low on his range for this performance, reverbing in your ears. There is a warmth seeping through the instrumental. It doesn't come exclusively from the performance, but more from the bass line. Tomoaki Maeno did a godly job in the background as the heart of the group, with a steady and warm bass line lighting up the soundscape. But not everything about this performance is pure bass. When it is the time to come to the spotlight, Maeno performs with a sweet baritone voice, not to mention that, at times, he harmonizes with the rest of the group. If you want a performance that showcases his range and technicality, this is the one that you have to check. Although these were just 2 examples of performances by Tomoaki Maeno, these are exactly the perfect examples that illustrate his range, technicality, control, as well as show him as a lead and a support for groups or even solo. There are plenty more performances that impress, but these are essentials in my opinion. As always, I recommend you to check and look for the 2D music projects Maeno is a part of and give a listen to the music for yourself and dive into his performances in more detail. You will find a fantastic singer with a lot of quality waiting for the spotlight to fall upon himself. You'll find a vocal chameleon like no other. And with this episode, you and I wrap up this chapter about the vocal chameleons among male seiyuu. These are SEIYUU with singing skills above all others. These are SEIYUU that have not only a wide vocal range but can also use it at will and sound natural and completely relaxed while doing so. These are SEIYUU that sound unrecognizable among the various 2D music projects they are a part of. They have an arsenal of techniques and skills that allow them to pull off the craziest or the most complex things on the vocal end. They adapt on the fly, especially noticeable during live performances, to various voice tones and vocal ranges. They are vocal chameleons with unreal singing skills and control, a rare sight among male SEIYUU. And Tomoaki Maeno wraps up this feature as a perfect example of all of these. Now tell me, what do you enjoy about Tomoaki Maeno's singing skills, and is there a performance of his that impressed you? Let me know in the comments on YouTube, and remember, leave your comments as complex or as simple as they may be, and you can be featured on upcoming episodes of SEIYUU Lounge. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this episode, and don't want to miss the THTFHQ's weekly male SEIYUU and music-related content. I'll return next week with another episode of SEIYUU Lounge. Thank you for listening, and see you guys around.